Hello, welcome to this week's Private Funds Update. I'm Sandra from SmartEsq, and today is Thursday, May 21st, 2026. Let's dive in. We kick things off with the Institutional Limited Partners Association, which just released its highly anticipated guidance, the alignment gap. If you're a GP currently in the market, take note. LPs aren't arguing that organizational fees are uncapped traditionally. They are capped. ILPA's core complaint is that these caps have crept up relentlessly over the last decade. Prominent LP entities are publicly backing this pushback. In its official release, ILPA specifically included statements of support from the Teacher Retirement System of Texas, APG Asset Management, and the State Board of Administration of Florida. To rein in these costs, ILPA's guidance proposes a strict three-part framework. First, a hard cap on formation expenses set at the lower of 5 basis points or $10 million. This creates a clear large fund versus small fund dynamic. A $20 billion mega fund hits the $10 million ceiling, while a $1 billion mid-market fund is capped at just $500,000. Second, if costs breach that cap, ILPA demands a 50-50 cost-sharing split between the GP and LPs for the overage. Third, it requires proactive legal fee transparency, including providing rate schedules and draft budgets directly to LPs. Expect these terms to dominate your next LPA negotiations. Moving to Washington, a landmark shift in enforcement defense. The SEC has officially rescinded its controversial, decades-old, no-deny settlement policy. Let's look at the history here. Since 1972, firms settling SEC enforcement actions were forced to agree not to publicly deny the agency's allegations, the infamous no admit, no deny gag rule. This meant that if you settled to avoid the astronomical costs of litigation, you were effectively muzzled for life from criticizing the agency's findings. This policy has faced mounting First Amendment challenges in federal courts in recent years. In a final rule adopted this week, the SEC scrapped the requirement. Chairman Paul Atkins declared that speech critical of the government is a vital American tradition, and that conditioning a settlement on the surrender of constitutional rights is inherently coercive. Practically, this is massive for defense counsel. It means a private fund manager can now sign a settlement to put a regulatory headache behind them, but simultaneously issue a press release or letter to LPs vigorously defending their business practices. Adding to the victory, the agency confirmed it will not enforce existing no-deny provisions in past settlements. Speaking of the SEC, we also just got our first look at the agency's new enforcement playbook. Newly appointed Division of Enforcement Director David Woodcock delivered his first public remarks, signaling a major philosophical shift from the previous administration. Woodcock, bringing a distinct defense bar perspective, stressed a back-to-basics approach emphasizing quality over quantity. He stated unequivocally that the SEC is abandoning the broken windows style of policing, meaning they aren't interested in launching industry sweeps just to rack up statistics on honest mistakes or technical footfaults that cause no real investor harm. However, do not mistake this for a free pass. Private markets remain squarely in the crosshairs. Woodcock specifically flagged the explosive growth in private credit as a systemic priority. He noted that the SEC will be heavily scrutinizing valuation practices for illiquid, bespoke loans, as well as how GPs manage conflicts of interest in GP-led secondaries and continuation funds. His advice? Engage early. Woodcock emphasized that firms who self-report and remediate before the SEC knocks will see dramatically reduced penalties, noting that the days of using subpoenas as the primary tool of communication are over. Finally, the CFTC permanently banned Michigan-based commodity pool operator Andrew Middlebrooks for concealing catastrophic trading losses with fabricated audits. What makes this significant is the sheer severity of the parallel criminal outcome. Middlebrooks is serving an 8-year federal prison sentence and owes $34 million in restitution. Historically, the CFTC reserves its heaviest fire for massive institutional market manipulation, spoofing, or billion-dollar crypto platform frauds. Dropping the hammer this hard on a single retail-facing CPO signals an increasingly aggressive, zero-tolerance playbook for retail commodities fraud. That's your briefing for the week. For a deeper textual analysis on how to adapt your firm's compliance programs, check out our companion newsletter in your inbox. If you are curious about the services we offer, please visit www.smartesc.ai